Alright, so we got this bar cut and we put it in place and it was a little too tight. So you could actually force it in there, but what happens is it kind of takes the two bars and splays them out a little bit, which you might not think would matter, but what's going to happen whenever I pull these bottom plates out, if I ever try to put this back in there, it's going to make it really difficult to put in. So we took it back out. I tried sanding on it a little. That didn't really do much. So we ended up loading it back into the notcher, and we just took a tiny little bite out of it, like a 1/16 of an inch or something. And it did it. Again, that's one of the nice things about having a good tool. I was kind of worried. So I did a cut that was essentially less than the kerf of the saw, which is like the thickness that it cuts, like this part in here, that distance. We did a cut less than that, and it still cut. So that was awesome. And now it's okay. It's got like just the tiniest amount of interference. It's almost nothing. I'm just going to say it's nothing. In fact, I can pick these up and move them, but they're stuck to the magnets, and that force is way higher than the friction. So let me show you. So the car is basically level, but the hoop is, it's because I'm on rollers, so the car's not dead level. But this is at like 0.11. So here's the shoulder bar. Basically the same. So we're in a good spot. We may adjust it again. We're going to think about that. So what I did is I put it about center of my 4-inch mark. So technically the top of the bar is 3.5 inches from the top of my shoulder. So there's no way you could say that, you know, this doesn't meet the rules. It says it has to be between 0 and 4 inches from your shoulder. So the top of my shoulder would be, you know, if you consider the middle of my shoulder, it could be lower. So the top of the shoulder is the worst case scenario, and then the worst case from there would be to say probably the bottom of the tube would push it higher. Anyway, I'm kind of saying it wrong. But yeah, that would push it even higher. So I think we're okay there. I did kind of want to put it a little lower, but that's not bad. So we're probably going to run it here. That means our inner braces will tie in just down there. So, and this is the midpoint that we need to hit for the diagonals, so that's not too bad. But the fitment turned out great. Everything looks centered up real nice. The coping, you know, does its job, so we are looking good. Fixing to, I guess we got to pull it out and clean it, because this still has mill scale on the tube. So I guess we'll pull the tube, clean it up, reinstall, set it again, and then get it tacked in position. So one thing I thought I'd show before we weld, we got all the stuff clean, and this does move freely, so if I grab this I can pick that up no problem. It's not, it's like close, but it's not touching. So that's kind of what you want, no added stress. And also you'll notice we polished all of this. So basically it was actually pretty easy. So let's see, yeah, here it is. So I have this little air tool, and it's got a sanding wheel on it, and those things, man, they work so well. It just tears that stuff off in no time. So we just ran that through, and that got it cleaned off the, got the metal clean, and then we just hit it with acetone, which I keep in one of these little bottles. So it's real easy to apply, and we just cleaned everything inside, outside. So super important with welds, have everything clean. Makes especially TIG welding, makes it go a lot better. But anyway, we are all set up. Go grab some food, and when we come back, we're gonna get this sucker welded. Cool, so we just got her tacked up. Got about, I think I put 4 tacks on each side, something like that, basically on the top half where it's easy to weld. And we're gonna pull it out of the card to do the final welding, but that should be fine, shouldn't move. And we did check it with the level. It's unturned off, but it's just parallel with this one, which is what we're going for, within 1/100th of a degree, so it's fine. So yep, gonna pop the seat out, just 6 bolts, and then we got 2 tack welds to get the floor plates off, and then this assembly will come out, we'll get her welded up. So we are working on welding. This one's almost finished, but something crazy just happened that I don't think it's ever happened to me before. So I'm over here and I'm just welding, and all of a sudden it just like explodes and blows a giant hole. And I mean, I'm not doing like nothing at all, like everything was going so pretty and normal, and then it just like an explosion. So I figured out what happened. It took me a second, because when it happened I was like, what in the world? So I've already terminated these tubes to these plates. they're fully welded. Same thing over here. Anybody got any guesses? Okay, so that's a pressure vessel. Once I finished the welds here, it was sealed. Interestingly, I don't know why nothing happened then, but just now when I was welding, I guess I got that tube. I mean, granted, I was trying to get enough heat in it to really get good penetration. This is, you know, whatever, I want it to be strong, but I think it just built up pressure, and when the metal started to melt and get soft, it got so hot the metal got weak and it just blew a hole through it. Through the pressure on the inside. Not the arc blew a hole, but the pressure inside the pipe blew a hole. Because I've been welding over here, and back and forth, and this whole thing's been heating up, and I guess it's just been building up pressure. And then finally that pressure got too high, and right there at the end, it blew a hole in it. I think that's what just happened. So, it kind of sucks, because you're not allowed to grind welds. So I'm just going to have to reach in here and touch that up the best I can and just weld over it. Really sucks. That's totally visible too, and it's on the driver's side. That's unfortunate, but we'll have to do what we can to repair that. But the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a tiny drill bit and drill a pinhole in the foot of this so that pressure cannot build up in this tube. I would have never thought of this before, but now I have. So moving forward, anytime I have a tube like this, if it's possible, I will drill a tiny hole like in this one. Oh, it's too late. I can't really do it. I may run into the same issue welding this one, potentially. I don't know. But if I had thought about it, like say I was doing this over, I might take a teeny drill bit and drill a tiny hole to connect this tube to that tube. And then that way, if this heats up, the pressure can go into this tube, and then I'll have a pinhole in the feet for the pressure to come out of. So anyway, I'm pretty sure that's what just happened. I don't know what else would have caused that, because it was like a damn explosion. It was so weird. Anyway, it's unfortunate, but we are going to do what we can to clean that mess up and put a weld back over it and keep on going. But yeah, I mean, look over here and like, it's going so nice. So this inner brace was a swing and a miss. So if you back up far enough, it looks fine. But we messed this one up because we basically just tried to wing it. So this angle, this has like, it looks like a simple part. This is actually a fairly complicated straight section. This is not in a single plane, so there's a rotation of this tube, like rotating this way. There's an angle here. There's an angle this way, but it doesn't even line up with this tube. It's at an angle like that, so you can see there's a gap here. I didn't take that into account. And then it has to shoot down and hit the floor, which is actually kind of close there, but if I roll this back where it really goes, like it actually fits about like that pretty nicely. The bottom fits good, this fits good, but it totally, I just didn't think about it. This is basically, I measured it to be here, but I forgot about tying into this. Actually, so what happened is I called an audible. So what I was gonna do was just have it come here and go down and just leave that tube alone. Then I decided to have it come in and do like that, but I forgot about this rotation. I'd already designed it this way. So I just like snuck that in and forgot that to do this, you gotta roll this over here, and that totally, so you can see on the top I'm doing this. Watch what happens to the bottom when I do that. It opens up this giant gap because you roll the tube. So we got to think about how we're going to do this. We're either going to have to just do it this way, but that's going to be harder to weld, you know, because like the more of this crap you do, doing it this way is definitely harder to fab, but then it's easier to weld. Anyway, we got some stuff to think about. We're going to knock off for now. We did get our crossbar in. I think I already filmed that, but yeah, anyway. That's going to do it for now. Until next time, y'all take it easy.